Welcome to this short audio briefing on the questions a top 1% salesperson asks. In sales, it's not just about having the right answers, it's about asking the right questions. The best salespeople don't pitch, they probe. They uncover pain points, build trust, and guide conversations that lead to real results. In this narration, you'll discover the types of powerful, thought-provoking questions that top-performing reps use to connect deeper with prospects and move deals forward with confidence. Let's dive in.
Understanding the customer's needs and challenges. 1. What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? 2. How does this issue impact your team or organization? 3. What would success look like for you? 4. Why is solving this a priority for you now? 5. What happens if this challenge isn't addressed? 6. What have you tried so far to solve this problem? 7. Are there any internal roadblocks you're dealing with? 8. What's currently working well in your process? 9. How are you measuring success in this area? 10. What would make your life easier?
Exploring decision-making processes. 11. Who else is involved in the decision-making process? 12. What criteria are you using to evaluate solutions? 13. What's your timeline for making a decision? 14. What's the budget you've allocated for this? 15. Are there any specific concerns about investing in a solution? 16. How do you usually decide between competing options? 17. What's the approval process for moving forward? 18. Is there a champion within your organization driving this initiative? 19. What outcomes are most important to your stakeholders? 20. What are the top priorities for your team this year?
Building relationships and trust. 21. What made you choose to speak with me today? 22. What's been your experience with similar solutions? 23. What's one thing you wish vendors understood about your business? 24. What would you need to see to trust this solution? 25. Have you worked with a partner on something like this before? 26. How do you typically prefer to work with vendors? 27. What would make this process as seamless as possible for you? 28. Are there any questions you have about me or my company? 29. What's your preferred way to communicate? Email, calls, or meetings? 30. What's one thing we could do to exceed your expectations?
Clarifying and aligning solutions. 31. If this issue were resolved, what would improve immediately? 32. What specific features or benefits are most important to you? 33. How does this align with your long-term goals? 34. What would help you feel confident in your decision? 35. What's your biggest concern about making this change? 36. What's missing from the solutions you've evaluated so far? 37th. Are there any risks you're worried about? 38. If this solution worked perfectly, what would that look like? 39th. How would this solution impact your day-to-day operations? 40th. Are there any upcoming changes that might affect this decision?
Uncovering deeper insights. 41. What does a typical day in your role look like? 42. How does this fit into your broader strategy? 43. What trends are you seeing in your industry? 44. Are there seasonal or cyclical factors influencing your needs? 45. What's one thing your competitors are doing differently? 46. How does this challenge compare to others you're managing? 47. What do you think is the root cause of this issue? 48. What's your team's biggest bottleneck right now? 49. What would you do differently if resources weren't a constraint? 50. If you had a magic wand, what would you change today?
Closing the deal. 51. What would stop you from moving forward today? 52. What's the most important factor in your decision? 53. How can I make this easier for you? 54. What would need to happen for us to move ahead? 55th. Are there any final concerns we haven't addressed? 56. What's your biggest hesitation about this solution? 57. Would it make sense to schedule a follow-up? 58th. Are you comfortable with the next steps? 59. Is there anything preventing us from moving forward? 60. What's the best way to get started together?
Post-sale questions. 61. How can we ensure this solution works perfectly for you? 62. What additional support would help you succeed? 63. What results are you hoping to see first? 64. How can I help you achieve your goals? 65. What's the best way to measure success together? 66. Are there any improvements you'd like to suggest? 67. What's been your experience since adopting the solution? 68. How can we make this partnership even better? 69. What's one thing we could improve for you? 70. Would you be open to providing feedback or a testimonial?
Strategic and long-term questions. 71. What does the future of your business look like? 72. What's your vision for the next 5 years? 73. How do you see your industry evolving? 74. Are there emerging opportunities you're excited about? 75. What's one trend you're keeping an eye on? 76. How does this investment fit into your broader goals? 77. What would make this partnership truly transformational? 78. What's one area where you'd like our help further? 79. How can we align better with your long-term objectives? 80. What would success look like 5 years from now?
Reflective and insight-driven questions. 81. What surprised you most about our conversation? 82. What's one thing you hadn't considered before? 83. How has your perspective changed through this process? 84. What's the most valuable takeaway from today? 85. What would you tell others about this solution? 86. How do you feel about the decision now? 87. What's one lesson you've learned from this? 88. What advice would you give to someone in a similar position? 89. What would you have done differently in hindsight? 90. How has this solution impacted your organization so far?
Personal development questions. 91. What do you enjoy most about your role? 92. What's the biggest lesson you've learnt this year? 93. What motivates you in your career? 94. What's your proudest accomplishment in your role? 95. How can I best support your personal goals? 96. What's one thing you'd love to achieve professionally? 97. Who inspires you in your industry and why? 98. What's the best advice you've ever received? 99. What's one skill you'd like to develop further? 100. How can we help you grow professionally?
Top 20. Objection handles for salespeople.
1. It's too expensive.
Can we review the ROI together?
2. We don't have the budget.
What if we phased implementation?
3. We're happy with our current provider.
What do you wish was better?
4. I need to think about it.
What's holding you back right now?
5. I need to get approval first.
Can we involve them in our next discussion?
6. I'm not interested right now.
What would make this relevant to you?
7. Your product doesn't have X feature.
How critical is that to solving your problem?
8. I need to discuss this with my team.
What questions do you think they'll have?
9. The timing isn't right.
What would the ideal timing look like?
10. I've had a bad experience with similar solutions.
What went wrong, and how can we avoid that?
11. We're already working on another project.
How could this support your current efforts?
12. I'm not sure this will work for us.
What specific concerns do you have?
13. Your competitor offers a lower price.
Are they offering the same value?
14. We're not ready to make a change.
What would need to happen to move forward?
15. This isn't a priority right now.
What are your current top priorities?
16. We don't see the need for this.
Can I show how this addresses hidden needs?
17. It's too complicated to implement.
Would it help if we managed onboarding?
18. We've tried something like this before.
What was missing from the previous solution?
19. I don't have the authority to decide.
Who should we involve to move forward?
20. I don't see the return on investment.
Can we break down the cost-benefit together?
Sales is both an art and a science. By asking better questions and handling objections more effectively, you build stronger relationships and ultimately close more deals.
Ready to level up your sales game? Practice your questioning, objection handling, and overall sales technique using SoundBranch. Post short voice notes on timelines, in private groups, or via chat. Perfect for sharpening your skills asynchronously and learning from how other sales reps approach opportunities. Sign up for your own private site at soundbrand.ch and download the SoundBranch app for iOS and Android via the Apple App Store and Google Play.